Most certainly. It's made me terribly excited that I've actually achieved that goal. Before I signed up with Mauritania, I wanted to do this. I wanted to work with international individuals, international companies. I wanted to work remotely online completely. And I knew about Upwork, but I was a bit intimidated trying to get up there on my own. And the fact that, a couple of months later, I've achieved that $1,000 benchmark has made me very excited, and it's given me confidence that I can continue and I can grow my exposure on Upwork. It's an excellent option. I mean, I've had first-hand experience at the demand for finance professionals, particularly on Upwork. If you've got the experience, particularly, a nice batch, a good number of years of experience on Upwork, which hasn't been Upwork-related experience, you still attract work. Of course, that doesn't go to say that, you need to build up your Upwork profile as well. So it's very important to do that. But CFOs are definitely in demand, and particularly those with a good bucket of experience. So I definitely would recommend anybody wanting to go on to remote working. If you're a finance professional, you've got a very good chance of making it. Well, it's definitely the community. It's definitely the course that you do helps you put things in perspective, what your expectation should be if you're going to be working remotely online. It's probably a bit different for me because I had already been doing some remote work, even though it wasn't with Upwork. But it definitely sets your expectations of how you want to live your life. You've got to decide that up front. If you're somebody who has to be with people on a daily basis, then it's probably not going to be for you. If you're happy that your home is going to be your work base, you've got to get used to that. I still struggle with that sometimes. I sometimes miss interaction with people. But at the end of the day, I've had to decide, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I think it's particularly suitable for those people nearing retirement. I'm not saying anybody can do it. If you are a person who enjoys remote work already as a younger person, then it's great for you. But most certainly going into retirement years, it's a wonderful opportunity to still carry on working, to advance your profession, and to still mingle with people in the profession, and to add value and, to add to your life's purpose. So being with Mauritania gave me that sort of train of thought as to what I really want to do here. And even more importantly, it gave me a support base, and it showed me how to go about setting myself up on the Upwork platform. If I hadn't joined Mauritania, I don't believe I would have put in that profile that's attracting the right people. And it's giving me confidence, and it's giving me the sounding board. And most of all, yes, networking with people. Although sometimes you do get caught up in your work because you feel you're not networking enough. But it's just having, I hate to use the word crutch. Maybe it is, but it's a great crutch to have actually at the end of the day, because you're going to need that support going forward, even because not all clients are necessarily going to last. Some contracts may come to an end, and then what? So you need to constantly network, and that's where Mauritania comes in. That's an interesting question, because being a finance professional, if I had to go through my CV, you'd see a myriad of experiences, myriad of industries I've been in. Primarily, it's financial management services. And I use the word financial management because people differentiate between a financial manager and a CFO. The CFO, in fact, is more high level, whereas the financial manager is more detail orientated. And then you get an accountant who's just detail orientated, who's not a financial manager. I believe I can deliver all three. So in my experience, I've worked, or going in as an outsourced finance manager or CFO, I've ended up being in positions where I've had to actually jump in and get my hands dirty. So the company's books have been in a mess. They've historically needed to be updated. They've needed accounts reconciled. And I've gone in, and before I've been able to actually provide that strategic view that a CFO needs to provide, I've gone in and done the accounting. I've gone in and done the account fix-ups. I've gone in and updated reconciliation. Then I've produced management accounts. And from a financial management perspective, I've managed to produce a nice picture. And then from a CFO perspective, what do we do with that picture? Do we project forward another 5 to 10 years? What's the business strategy? And that's where the CFO role comes in. So in a combination, it's the accountant, it's the financial management, or financial analyst. Let's not leave that out. Because as a finance manager and as a CFO, you should also be a very good analyst, because you should be able to analyze those figures and allow them to tell a story. So let's say accountant, finance analyst, and hands-on CFO. which is your financial manager and CFO in one. Those are the services I provide. Firstly, look, I think it's been easier for someone like myself being in finance. I think finance is definitely a very good niche to have on the Upwork platform, on any remote working platform. But there's certainly anybody with some kind of experience, some kind of background, some kind of skill. There's always somebody who needs that, who needs assistance with that, who needs direction, who needs someone who can apply that skill. But it's got to be also something that you love doing. So again, to use myself as an example, I don't love everything I do all the time. I really don't. I've had to think very carefully about what part of what I do I love. In the question before this, you mentioned what services do I provide. And funny enough, what's come out of the analyst role is forensic work. Then I remembered, actually, I've always loved forensic work. I've loved detailed investigative work. And that's what's coming my way by being a finance analyst. So you've got to give it a bash. You've got to start with something that you know, some skill that you're good with, put it out there, and then you play around. Then you see if you get any responses, if anybody comes along, do your research. But most certainly anybody can succeed on Upwork, provided you have a skill that you enjoy and a passion to want to work remotely online.